Hi, I'm Stephanie Wells. I'm teaching a course called Sound and Sense about formalism and poetics in poetry. What I mean by that is not what the words mean, not just what they say, but how they are arranged and structured on the page, how they're chosen for their sound and their look on the page and their meter as well as their meaning. So we'll look at a lot of closed form and fixed form poetry as well as some free verse because those are not just free for alls, those are also carefully chosen if the poet's good. And we will look at one of the first things we'll learn is metrical scansion, which is something that you may remember from high school, knowing what iambic pentameter is or something. But once you have the ability to count that out and say, oh, that's anapestic tetrameter with a spondaic substitution in the second foot, which is sounds harder than it is, and that's not that steep of a learning curve. You'll get to that pretty early. But once you can identify that, the question is, who cares? How does that matter to the meaning of the poem? And so, what I want to look at is the way in which poets use that, for example, meter to enhance the meaning of what they're saying. I'll give you an example, which is a pretty famously known little couplet by Robert Frost, couplet being two lines that rhyme with each other. The old dog barks backwards without getting up. I can remember when he was a pup. Two lines, they rhyme, they have the same meter, basically, they end at the same time, but they're really different in the way that they are, that their rhythm flows. Listen to the first one. The old dog barks backwards without getting up. It's slowed down by extra stress syllables, by a lot of consonants stacked up. It has the feeling of being kind of stiff, like a dog that maybe barks over its shoulder because it's too tired and fatigued to get up and run. The second line, I can remember when he was a pup. It's got unstressed syllables, it's got one fewer syllables, it's so much friskier, it's so much more fluid. And so subconsciously, even if you're not counting out the syllables, you get more of a feeling of the pup than you do the old dog, which is a slower line. If your soldiers are crisply pressed, marching off to war, ready for battle, that's going to be da-dun, 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 very regular. Are they limping home despondently, wounded, bloody, dispirited? That's not going to be regular. That's going to be stumbling meter. So if the poet's thinking about things like this, whether or not we count it out, but we will be able to, we'll be able to hear exactly what their choices are. We'll look at the way words are chosen for their sound. Are you writing about waves hitting rocks? You can say the waves hit the rocks, but if you're Alexander Pope and you say, when loud surges lash the sounding shore, you've chosen words that have all these sounds in them that go, ksh, and you hear the waves hitting the shore, even if you're not listening to that. You can say waves and rocks, or you can say surge and shore and lash and ksh. So we're going to look at the ways that poets choose the shape of the letter, the sound of the word, the rhythm, the rhyme. Is it an exact rhyme or an off rhyme? Why do they choose these things? So that subconsciously the meaning itself is enhanced. And that makes poetry so much more exciting than it already is. And people always ask me, like, but did the poet really do that on purpose? Of course she did. Of course he did. If they're great poets, they do. And understanding how to find that makes reading the poem 1,000 times more enjoyable. So I hope you'll join me to do that with me.